Army of the Dead. In Army of the Dead, zombies aren't the usual walking corpses. They're actually living people infected by a man-made virus that works fast. As soon as someone is bitten or scratched, the virus takes over their nervous system. They stop feeling pain, their bodies can handle injuries without slowing down, and they keep moving even though they don't heal anymore. Unlike classic zombies, they don't rot quickly, so they last much longer. The first kind of infected is known as a shambler. They move slowly and look dried up, but they're still dangerous and will attack anything alive. But if someone is bitten by Zeus, the original source of the outbreak, they can turn into something much worse, an alpha. Resident Evil. When someone gets infected with the T virus, it shuts down their brain's higher functions but keeps the body going. They become violent, aggressive, and strangely hard to kill, basically walking corpses that can even heal in weird ways. At first, they're typical zombies, slow, rotting, and always hungry for flesh. The only way to stop them for good is by destroying the head. But if they're left alone too long or badly injured, they mutate into something worse. Crimson heads. These are faster, stronger, and covered in red skin, with sharp claws and a violent streak. If things keep going downhill, crimson heads can evolve into lickers. These creatures have no skin or eyes, just exposed muscle and a huge brain. They're blind, but have incredible hearing, crawling on walls and ceilings, striking with their claws or long, whip-like tongue. Surviving this mess takes strategy. One trick is the lure and loop. Make a noise, like a whistle, to draw a zombie in, then quietly slip behind while it charges forward. If you're lucky enough to reach an umbrella lab or similar facility, look for active security systems, auto turrets, blast doors, and fire suppression tech. These places were built to handle outbreaks. If you can get your hands on a working keycard or hack the system, you might just turn their own defenses against them. World War Z, the Solanum virus in World War Z turns people into reanimated hunters. Infection spreads fast through a black, tar-like fluid from the mouth. Just a drop in the eyes or mouth is enough unless cleaned off quickly. Once inside, the virus rebuilds the brain into something new that doesn't need air, food, or rest, and keeps the body preserved far longer than normal. Cold or underwater, they barely rot. And these zombies do not wander around. When there's no sound, they freeze in place. But the moment they hear movement, they lock onto it with full force. Their walk is slow, but they don't stop, and they don't get tired. Because they follow noise, survivors use distraction as their main weapon. The distraction method, also known as the lure and loop method, works greatly in this outbreak. Survivors might also trigger car alarms or flick a large billboard's lights to corral zombies into choke points. This tactic can keep them safe by directing hordes away from them and into confined zones designed to slow or trap the undead. The Last of Us. In The Last of Us, the infection starts when someone inhales spores or gets bitten. The cordyceps fungus invades the brain, shuts down normal functions, and slowly takes over the body to keep spreading. It doesn't kill right away, it transforms the host in stages. First come the runners. They still look mostly human but are fast, aggressive, and pumped full of adrenaline. After a few weeks, they become stalkers. These are more twisted, with fungus breaking through their skulls. They start hiding, waiting, and attacking with a bit more strategy. After about a year, clickers emerge. Their faces are completely overgrown with fungus, leaving them blind, but they use clicking sounds to echolocate. Then come the bloaters or shamblers, huge, armored, and able to throw spore bombs or release toxic gas, making them brutal to fight up close. In extremely rare cases, multiple long-term infections merge into one massive monster, the Rat King. It's a tangled, horrifying fusion of bodies held together by fungus. One survival tactic that helps here is biome disruption. Survivors look for spaces with high natural fungal biodiversity, like greenhouses or damp areas, and then throw off the balance. Sudden changes like UV flashes or antifungal plants can temporarily interrupt the fungus, giving you a narrow window to escape or fight back. Zombieland. The outbreak starts with mad zombie disease. It's a mutated form of mad cow disease that jumps to humans through infected beef. Once people started eating contaminated meat, it spread fast. First came high fevers, then brain swelling, and finally an uncontrollable urge to eat human flesh. Infected people change almost instantly. Their blood goes dark, their skin turns greenish, and even though they look dead, they're still alive, just twisted. They feel pain, they move fast, and sometimes they even work together. The most common type is called a homer. They're slow and not very smart, but when they show up in big groups, they're a real threat. Over time, more advanced versions start to appear. You get Hawkings, smart enough to use tech like eye scanners. Then Ninja, who stay silent and strike from the shadows. Worst of all are the T-800s, fast, strong, and tough enough to tank regular gunfire. To stay alive, some survivors smear mud, leaves, or dark cloth on themselves to blend in with homers. Heat-blocking gear can help hide you from Hawkings, and if you're out in the woods, mimicking animal sounds like rustling leaves might be your best shot at staying unnoticed. I am Legend. What started as a breakthrough cancer treatment became the Crippen virus, an engineered measles strain meant to reprogram cells and cure disease. But it mutated, and instead of saving lives, it began wiping out humanity. It spreads fast through saliva and blood. Once it's in the body, it rewires everything. Higher brain functions like memory, speech, and reasoning shut down. What's left is pure aggression and a predator instinct. The infected, known as dark seekers, are terrifying. They're alive, not undead, so their bodies don't decay. With overactive adrenal systems, they have insane strength, speed, and senses, especially smell. They can climb, smash through barriers, and chase prey like animals. Their one major weakness is light. Even a little sunlight burns them, and direct exposure is fatal. So they hide in dark places and only come out at night. But they're not mindless. Some have been seen setting traps, coordinating, and even planning attacks. There's something intelligent still lurking beneath all that rage. One way to fight back is sunlight funneling. By using mirrors, UV lamps, or skylights, survivors can force dark seekers into patches of light, just enough to weaken them or create an opening to escape. It's a risky move, but in a world Black Ops Zombies, Call of Duty. It all started with Element 115, an alien material originally used in experimental weapons and teleportation tech. But it did more than anyone expected. It brought the dead back to life, and worse, it twisted both corpses and living hosts into violent, mutated undead. At first, the threats are slow, rotting figures that take tank damage and just keep coming. But they don't stay that way. Soon, you're up against armored soldiers that soak up bullets, huge brutes that charge head-on, and parasites that explode on contact. Then it escalates. Manglers show up, half corpse, half machine, armed with built-in weapons. Creepers scurry in fast and hit hard in groups. Some enemies even carry elemental effects like freezing you, shocking you, or straight up blowing up, forcing you to stay sharp and adapt constantly. To survive, you can rely on the kiting circle. Instead of standing still, you keep moving, looping through open areas, keeping zombies just behind you in a tight group. It gives you space to reload, throw grenades, or drop traps without getting overwhelmed. In tight spaces or bigger arenas, smart looping can stack enemies up, slow them down, and give you back control. The Walking Dead. In The Walking Dead, the wildfire virus is airborne and already inside everyone. Once you die, no matter the cause, you come back, unless your brain is destroyed. The standard walker is a slow, rotting corpse, driven by noise and the scent of the living. They're relentless and only focused on one thing: feeding. But then there are the variants. Some can climb or open doors. Those are called the climbers. Others seem to recognize places or people, called roamers. And some just lie still until something sets them off, lurkers. The most dangerous are burners or cohorts. These ones are faster, stronger, even smarter, mutated versions of the virus that push walkers way beyond the usual threat. To survive, there's a unique trick survivors use: scent inversion. Walkers tell the living from the dead mostly by smell. So people cover themselves in dust from bones or clothing, taken off corpses, sometimes using masks or gloves to block their own scent.